Hello and welcome everyone, I am duckyobrien and today I'll be going over the cycle. The cycle hit season 3 recently. It's a lot of new things in store for players, both new and old, so why don't we get into it. The cycle was developed and published by Yager, and it is a Epic Game Store exclusive. It's free to play, so if you want to check it out, you can grab it right now. Alright, moving on. So I think the cycle is a little bit unique in that it focuses on PvE primarily, and PvP is kind of used as a deterrent to the PvE element. Like, you want to contest goods for points and money. That's why you want to do PvP. If you only engage in PvP, it's very hard to win. It's a lot of fun getting into fights, but you won't get a lot of points. So here, going into Season 3, we got a couple of new things, and I'll also cover just briefly the things that were introduced in Season 2. So if you noticed here, the monsters do a lot more damage. They do considerably more. So if you want to clear the big stack, which used to be the meta, the white crystal marker on the minimap, it's considerably more difficult because either you will die trying or they will actually destroy the collectors. The collector HP has been reduced, the creeps aggro it more frequently, and their damage output has been increased. So it's very hard. Not only that, you only gain money from killing monsters. I shouldn't say only, you gain most of your money from killing monsters. So before, if you looked at high level play for the cycle, what people used to do was bum rush objectives. They would split up. For squads, each person would take a quadrant of the map, and they would put down a collector or a harvester on the mineral stack. They would buy the bike, they would ride over to the next stack, and they would rotate around their quadrant. And because the harvesters, the collectors, had so much HP, they would still be up, and you can collect them without drawing aggro. And that will let you amass a huge amount of points, talking hundreds. This evolved pretty quickly as people figured this out. It was more effective than, you know, holding laser drill, etc. So the developers nerfed that by making sure the monsters were harder to kill, and that the harvesters, the collectors, were easier to kill as well. So like, it's pretty hard, I'm not gonna lie. Not only that, moving in, it's kind of weird, but there's a lobby where you can walk around. It's very immersive if you like that sort of stuff. There's like a city, there's shops, etc. And, you know, it feels more lived in, like the world is alive. Now, personally, I don't care for that kind of stuff. I just want a fast menu, so if you want a fast menu, you can press Q, and you can access all of that right away. So, you know, that's great. That's fantastic for those of you who like that sort of stuff. If you don't, if you want the regular old menu back, you have that as well. So they put a lot of more effort into making the world feel more alive, I guess, and more lived in. Now moving on, there are 2 new weapons introduced in Season 2. We have the shotgun, which is really OP at close range. It's a $200 gun, around 300 damage. The range is really... it's terrible. When you're shooting it at long range, you tickle them, as a shotgun should. But at close range, it's very devastating, and you don't want to fight up close. I think it's a pretty decent weapon. I still like the PDW a lot better. I think it's a less punishing, because for the shotgun, if you're not close, you can't really deal that damage. So, you know, if you can get close, that's perfect. You know, you gotta kit out for getting close to them. Maybe using the boxer suit, or maybe having abilities to let you close the gaps. It depends on your playstyle. And moving on, we have the new assault rifle, the AR-55, which is pretty good, but I prefer the Advocate because the Advocate has more range. The 55 does do more damage, but I prefer that little bit of extra range, which lets me kind of bother people at long range as well. And then interestingly enough, guys, the game has moved on from many metas. We had a couple. The hammer was still, you know, the de facto pistol to get because of the heavy firepower and range. Early game, if you didn't have a hammer, you would lose PvP fights. And then, you know, moved on from there. It was very interesting. We had like a karma meta. The karma was OP. you would pull people money to get a early karma and dominate, and then the the other person would push in. If you're playing duos and squads, it still works. And it's shifted to kind of like a basilisk meta, like the spread, and in squads especially, when you're spraying that thing, you do cover a lot of ground, a lot of area with damage, and you don't really have to rely on aiming. And then, towards Season 2, started shifting towards like a grenade meta, like a comrade, etc. But in Season 3, we're starting to see the emergence and the dominance of the bolt action rifle. I would never have guessed this in my entire life. The bolt action used to suck balls, but now it's apparently one of the best weapons in the game. I've equipped with the hollow. I got more damage and faster firing rate, but if you hit people in the head, as you can see with the creeps as well, 600 damage. 600. Now if you dink a person in the head, you're gonna reduce their health or shields by like half, over half. So this is a really effective weapon. You can shoot it at close range without much penalty. If you keep your wits about you, you can aim for the head. It's insane how much damage this thing does. And there's really no trade-off other than you obviously don't want to miss your shots. You only have 5 bullets per magazine. I mean, you can equip your gun a little bit different, but like, man, what in the world? What in the world? Anyways, it's a bolt action rifle meta. It's kind of weird. And like shotgun bolt action will last you pretty well in most fights. Yeah, going back to the thing about the creeps being hard to kill, them doing more damage, them killing the resource collectors faster, you kind of want to have the turret now. The turret used to be bad in that it would draw aggro, but it wouldn't really kill the creeps. It still doesn't kill the creeps here, but it does draw aggro for you so that you can kill them without getting damaged. Because if you are low and a person stumbles upon you with a bolt action rifle, you're pretty much dead. So, kind of interesting to see the game evolve and the player base evolve with it. Yeah, but it's disgusting. You can just nail heads and just kill them from long range. They won't even know what hit him. But yeah, there you have it. It's very interesting. The turret is kind of key for solo PvE. You kind of need it. Moving on. Man, the battle pass for Season 3 is looking pretty good. I would say out of all the battle passes, this is the best one. If you don't care about that kind of stuff, like, it doesn't matter. As you can see here, I wrecked this guy with the bolt action. If it was a regular fight, he might have won, but the bolt action is so strong that there's just no chance. The quick swoop, by the way, has less HP, so unless you're really confident in your aiming abilities, it might be a little bit hard to use that. So there's some lag issues going on, but yeah. Alright, I still like PDW. Now, they did introduce a new event in the game. There's a mag train. You can capture the train and ride it. As you're riding it, as you own the train, you gain points, and as it's unloading, you get a 3 times bonus. So you want to contest those if you want. It's kind of an interesting new mechanic. I think it's better than the laser drill. It's a lot more fun, and you can contest it a lot easily. When the laser drill lifted in the air, you're pretty much screwed unless you had a sniper. But since they had the high ground, it was easier for them to contest it because you couldn't reach a person in a laser drill in the sky. It's kind of impossible. Going back to Season 2 nerfs, I'm really sad about this. The Dragonfly suit has been nerfed to heck. Air superiority no longer exists. You can barely fly. If you played in Season 1, you're gonna be very sad. Honestly, I think it was nerfed a little too hard because if you're fighting someone and you can't really run away or use vertical superiority for any advantage in the fight, like if you just hop and then that's it, I don't really see a reason to use a dragonfly suit, but I do agree that it was pretty overpowered when you can fly up in the air, stay there forever, and then slam down on the ground. And someone using like a boxer suit couldn't really touch you. So I think there's a better way to balance it, but for now, it's a pain to use. You can't really fly around everywhere. You just gotta walk pretty much. You might die or not make jumps across like a chasm.
Over here.
But yeah, I went back into the game after season 1. It's still feeling pretty good. It's definitely feeling a lot more hardcore. So another change that they did was that they added the ability to reclaim your recall battery. So when you're down once, you can look at that headshot damage. What insane! Shield's gone, down to health already. Doesn't even know where I am.
Cycle spike. Pick up unstable surge crystals before they decay.
I probably should have adrenaline here to catch up and finish the kill here, but this fight was pretty intense. I'm choking here. By the way, my aim is not the best, but I can still pretty much outshoot the average player in the cycle. I did compete in a tournament, and let me tell you, the top players are super scary, as in any game. Like, I remember one rando squads encounter. I was playing against Lilia, and there was 3 of us, and it took 3 of us to kill her. I was like, okay. Yeah, it's that difficult when people are pretty good. But with the average encounter, you can probably outplay him if you're smart. Like, make sure to go back. If your shields are down, regen your shields. Don't engage when you're gonna die. Like, there's no reason to. You can come back to fight. Also, this person I'm shooting at right now was trash talking the entire game as if they were like good. I don't know, saying stuff like, "I'll take you out of the game," blah blah blah, and you know, I beat him easy peasy. They talk a lot, but look at this. He's trying to knife me here. I got recalled. Again, if you recall once, there's a battery that you can reclaim when you come back. We had a long back and forth, and I eventually lost this fight, but this was pretty hard. I did steal the crystals from him. That's something, but yeah. If you're running here, just make sure to take a note of the terrain and break line of sight with the terrain. So you don't want to run across open ground. Otherwise, you know, you're going to have your back wide open. You want to run on the low ground. High ground will give you a profile for people to check. And like, just snake around. Go. Yeah, when you're doing creeps, always pay attention. Have foam there. Nice. I go back and contest that dude's crystal stack. But he does kill me in the end, so... Alright, like, watch this. Bolt action. Now, they did change the bullets to projectiles other than energy weapons. So, I don't have a full grasp of how the bullets act, but for the most part, they move quite quickly. So, you can kind of treat them like hit scan. When they're farther away, it does get a little bit harder to adjust the bullets. But again, when you're down shields, just take cover. You don't have to expose yourself. Look at that! Look at that hit! I almost downed him. It's ridiculous from this range with no scope. Insane. Again, bullets are projectiles other than energy weapons. The bullet speed is pretty fast. So you can sort of treat it like a hit scan. And there's a bolt action meta. Again, break line of sight. I use adrenaline here, I got caught on the terrain. I'm breaking line of sight by going around here. There's a lot of creeps here that I wanted to avoid. And I was running straight, which is bad. Again, if you followed me, if you knew where I was, he could have shot me and killed me there. Look at that. He did use heal though, so that's very annoying. I think he had adrenaline and heal syringe. I think I might copy that build because it was very hard to kill this guy. And I lost him here. He went straight ahead. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just gonna go get the crystals, which was a mistake. I should have killed him. Put the turret there to let me know in advance if I was getting attacked from that angle.
You have picked up a zeal crystal.
Yeah. I think it was a mistake to pick up the Zeal as well. There he is.
Combat alert. Engaged by prospector.
This build was so annoying to fight against. Just ability-wise, like the healing power.
Triage engaged.
Yeah, you could hear me sigh there.
Emergency recall. Recover the
Now,
jump
I
battery
could
to
go back and
recharge.
claim the battery, that's what the red icon is. But since I didn't have a lot of time left, I opted to farm for points. Because I spent so much time fighting, I couldn't really regain the point lead that I had in the early game. What I'm doing here is I'm rebuying the PDW and upgrading it, because I think if I had a little bit more damage, close range, I could have won that fight there. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting to see where the game's gonna go meta-wise. Like if you're playing with a coordinated duo or a squad, you don't really need to use turrets or anything, because you can rely on your teammates to kind of split the aggro and rotate out if they're damaged. Oh, by the way, the in-game strength list is way better now. It used to be a travesty. It was an actual travesty. It was kind of sad how bad it was. But now it's pretty good now, so that's the thing. If you guys played in Season 1, there was like an atrocious bug where you would have to remove your friend on the Epic Game Store, and then re-add them every time you wanted to play together on the cycle. And I was like, this needs to be fixed. So if you guys were wondering, we were turned off in Season 1. That's gone now. Alright, just to recap in the few minutes we have left. For Season 3, they added a lobby. It looks fantastic. If you don't want to use it, you can press Q to shift back to the menus. They got rid of the crafting materials and just made it crypto marks, just one currency overall that you win at the end of the match. You don't have to pick it up or collect anything. And all of your modules are purchased with this. And this is streamlining the entire process. It's pretty good. I should not have fought this guy, but just check out the power of the bolt action. Even if you miss, they can't really stay in the open and contest you unless they too have a bolt action or equivalent sniper. I'm missing my shots here again. I'm not used to the handle of the guns now, but I will spend some time getting used to it. They going back. Yeah, like they added a lot of things, they streamlined a lot of things, the friendliness is better. And they added some new events to the maps, like the mag train. Looks pretty fun. You know, it adds a little bit of variety to the map. And they added 2 new weapons in Season 2, the shotgun and the assault rifle. Both are pretty good, I highly recommend it. And again, the monsters attack a lot harder. They hit a lot harder. They do a lot more damage. And man, they destroy the collectors pretty quickly. And you kind of need to draw aggro off of yourself. So combine that with the fact that money is made from killing monsters now as opposed to completing objectives as much. So it kind of forces you to farm these monsters. And they're making changes to make sure that contesting big stack doesn't give you a huge lead in the game. So they're making it so that 200 minerals show up around the bigger stack, and 400 show up more like around the general area. So if you can't get the 1000 stack, you can get a couple 400 and catch up. So does give you a slight advantage. I've noticed less people contest big stack now because it's not as important. It's also very hard to do solo early game, so that's why they ignore it. In fact, I've seen it big stack stay empty the entire round because it just wasn't that important anymore. But yeah, it's crazy how bolt action is so powerful. I'm fairly certain it's gonna get nerfed because I think at close range it shouldn't have this much power. I don't think so. It's a little unfair, but yeah. There, the game is over. By the way, there is no ring. The only thing you have to worry about is at the end, you take damage over time, and you just want to make it to the central evac zone. So I find that kind of unique. But there you have it, folks. Just a short look at the Cycle Season 3. Me playing a game and rambling over it. Thank you so much for dropping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. And catch you guys next time.